And here we have the Temple Challenge Cup with Boston University from the USA on the left-hand side and University of Pennsylvania USA as well on the right-hand side. US Showdown, a real treat for us on American Independence Day. And I'm joined here with Sarah Cook in the commentary box as well as we see this 8th race rearing off the blocks. Lots of shouting there from the cocks in the Pennsylvania crew on our right-hand side. And there we see them with a big P on their chests. This sort of crew that would normally race lightweights in the US. So quite leaner guys, a lot like myself or my former self, you know, sort of racing at sort of between 70 and 75 kilos. Really zippy off there against the bigger crew from the Boston there. And here they go. What do you think of that, Sarah?
Yeah, thanks, Adam. Nice to be with you all this afternoon. Bit of steering issues there with the crew on the right-hand side. That's the University of Pennsylvania. It's interesting to see the Cox and, you know, a Cox crew struggling with their steering. I know that a number of crews have found that quite difficult coming past the island with a little bit of stream there. But looking like they're getting themselves organised now.
They do, don't they? You can really hear the cocks there in that Pennsylvania crew giving them lots of commands there, and actually, you know, they did go off and maybe that steering did cost them a little bit at the beginning there, but the Boston University crew on the far side in those red and white diagonal style blades there with big Boston written across their chests and that US flag bandana in the stroke seat there, just taking a bit of a lead on the Pennsylvania crew.
Yeah, we can see here Boston University in the lead by about a length, it looks to me, over the University of Pennsylvania from the United States, as you say, an all-US matchup here, quite fitting on the 4th of July. We'll see a couple of those this evening, actually, with these last few races.
Yeah, that's it. I'm sure the fans back home are tuning in on the East Coast, you know, doing their Independence Day celebrations, you know, having their cookouts and all that sort of stuff, and enjoying some fine American cuisine. But this is American rowing at its finest here. Two top universities going toe-to-toe. Lightweight crew there, looking loose and nimble and just ticking it along at the sort of slightly higher rates that you'd normally expect from the lighter crews. Slightly sort of not often as tall as the heavyweight crew, so you've just got that little bit more compact range, and you just try and tick it along like you're spinning a bike at a slightly higher cadence.
Yes, we got a great shot there of both crews. You can see that it is Boston University on the right-hand side in the Buck station, currently leading the University of Pennsylvania. Hello to those of you joining us from the US to watch this race. Boston continuing to lead by 1 length here. They were actually second in the petite final of the varsity 8s at the IRA State Championships and third at the Windermere Cup. They were defeated by Dartmouth in the Bill Cup. So this crew is mainly made up of the varsity and the second varsity 8. So it's a bit of a combined crew from Boston University, currently leading University of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, it's a bit of a combo crew there, isn't it, of their two crews that have been racing as Boston University in the US this year, but they've obviously formed together very quickly. I'm sure they all train pretty much in the same program, chopping and changing out of other boat classes with each other, but they're both looking slick and they've taken a good lead on Pennsylvania here. Yeah,
absolutely. I think a number of those 2V guys would probably be relishing the opportunity to be sitting in the top boat here, competing at Henley Royal Regatta, and perhaps looking ahead to the crew for next year.
Yeah, and as we look at actually the Pennsylvania crew on the left-hand side there in that blue and red are just creeping back a little bit, you know. Maybe that sort of ability to keep the rate ticking over has just allowed them to stay in contact with Boston, and they've not got it all their own way. As you sort of, we're creeping down here to sort of well over halfway, sort of sneaking up on the remnant club, so that wind into the line. You know, if you keep that momentum early and keep your wind and build it up earlier, it's not too much of a shock. And actually with an 8, it's quite difficult, but it can be quite tricky to change pace so fast. So actually, we've got to keep an eye on here on that Pennsylvania crew to see what they're up to.
Yeah, that's the really critical thing about the 8s, is that if University of Pennsylvania are making a move, that the Boston University crew are ready to cover that, because as you say, the change of speed in the 8s is a lot slower, it takes a lot longer, and you can get surprised by a crew that makes a move early. So they'll really have to be switched on here. It's really tough for that coxswain in the Boston crew that's in the lead, because of course their back, coxing the 8, is to the crew that's perhaps starting to encroach on them. But I would think that coxswain could see that bow ball probably coming up over the right-hand shoulder, coxing that Boston crew, is William Mulhall. So he would, I'm sure, be able to hear them and be able to see that bow ball of the University of Pennsylvania crew starting to creep up.
Nice close-up shot there on the back of that Boston University crew, looking nice and slick there, pushing back really horizontal and getting a lot of power on that oar and pushing the boat up the course rather than pushing it up out of the water. That sort of vertical movement is more horizontal, which is always what you want to do when you want to go from A to B, or from Temple Island to the Temple, to Henley Bridge as quick as you can.
And we can see the Penn crew just starting to get a little bit more overlap with the Boston crew at the moment. For me, the Boston crew still look like they're very much in control, but if I was the coxswain, I'd be trying to get this crew to move now, because that Penn crew is slowly but surely eating into that lead that Boston took early. It's definitely closed from the one-length lead that they had to perhaps only 3/4 of a length lead now. As we see there on screen, the Penn crew, the coxswain, Dominic Williams, looking across. He can see that they're in with a chance in the dying stages, but is there too much time to make up with the running out of the course?
Yeah, Boston University can't shake them off, can they? The University of Penn crew just hanging on to their coattails there, or actually creeping up. Maybe the stroke man, maybe the 7-man, just getting their bows up. But is it going to be too little too late? They're sort of running out of course, and it is quite a long old boat class to sort of bring up to level terms, isn't it? Quite a lot of seats to take, and I think that's Boston University there for the win over University of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, great race there by Boston University, taking the win in the Temple Challenge Cup over the University of Pennsylvania from the United States of America.